We're going to take a look at the editing tools in iPhoto 09. We'll start with some images that we've selected that will be good for showing you some of these features. To start with, let's select this top image, and we're going to go down to the editing icon, and that will open up the image that's selected. And we're simply going to talk about one called the crop tool. As soon as you select the crop tool, you get a little box around the image, and you'll notice that the original pixel dimensions of the image are now selected. If you want to crop, you can just adjust the borders of this window. If the little checkbox is activated, the proportions of the image will stay the same. If you don't check constrain, you could actually change the proportions of the image. And if you have a predetermined size that you're looking for, like a 5 by 7, you can select those predetermined sizes as well. And then you can move around within the image and set the crop the way that you like it. Once you're satisfied with that crop, you can click on apply and the image is cropped, but not permanently. You can always go back at a later time because these are non-destructive editing tools, and you can undo this crop. So you're not removing any pixel information from your images when you do it. As long as we've got this image up here right now, let's talk about another tool called the red eye tool, since the baby does have red eye in this image. If we select that tool, we can actually create a brush that would be the appropriate size for that eye, and you see the brush size changes, and we could just come up here and click, or what I find works almost every time is that the application amazingly finds the little red dot and automatically makes that correction for you. So that's the way I normally do it. Okay, next let's talk about the straightening function. To do this, I'm going to take another image which you can see was taken at a slight angle, and the building looks like it's uh, toppling a little bit, and we want to fix that. Uh, the straighten tool allows us to do this in a very intuitive way. You get a grid over the image, and the slider that you see here allows us to rotate counterclockwise or clockwise until you find that you have the image aligned properly. Uh, you'll notice that the image will actually get bigger as we crop it because it's increasing the size so that it can keep the overall size the same without losing some picture information in the uh, corners where you're going to be losing information. So it sizes it up automatically. I usually like to find something toward the center of the image to align. So maybe something right up in here, and you can see that the image becomes much more pleasing when we do this. Once you're done, simply click done, and that crop will remain in the image. If we call that image back up at a later time and went to the editing tools and to straighten, you notice that it remembered that the image was rotated 1 degree counterclockwise, but we could reverse that anytime that we like. Non-destructive. Let's review the straightening technique with another image, and I'm going to this time kind of look at the right side of the house and use that as my guide and just kind of straighten that out a little bit, and then we're going to say done. Now additionally, I think I'll do some retouching on this image, we do have this retouch tool, which is fairly simplistic, but there are some cases where it does a pretty nice job. For example, if I wanted to get rid of this little speck here, I could simply roll over it and click, and that spot is removed by putting similar uh, close by information in its place. I can do the same thing here. You can change the size of the brush a little bit. You want to be close to the size of the area that needs the repair, and then we do that again. And we can do that anywhere where we need to have some of that information corrected. The next thing that we can take a quick look at is a simple tool called Enhance. If I click on Enhance, iPhoto automatically makes some tonal corrections that it thinks is correct. Oftentimes, you may not be totally satisfied with this result, so I would suggest that you move to the Adjustment window where you can reset back to the way that the image looked originally. And then you can use the more advanced tools that are available in this window. By the way, you'll notice if I hit Enhance, there were changes that automatically took place here, and that's where you can reset. One example is this automatic color temperature tool, which you'll notice this image, the snow seems to be a little bit on the bluish side. If you click on this tool, you can then move out into the image and find an area that you think should be white. In this case, most likely the snow. If you simply click on it, it will automatically give the snow a whiter look, and now you kind of know that this image must have been taken late in the day where the sun was setting and you have that kind of golden look. If you're not satisfied with that, you can always hit reset and maybe find a little different place that gives you a slightly different effect. You can also adjust exposure, contrast, color saturation, definition. You can adjust the highlights independently. You notice the sky is changing. Shadows or the dark areas of the image. Sharpness, and you can take out noise if the image tends to have a lot of spotty noise in it. And again, these are non-destructive tools. You can always click reset and eliminate the changes that you've made. I'm going to just keep the change to the color temperature because I like that, and then I'm going to move on to other tools. The last tool that we'll be talking about in this tutorial is the tool that allows us to make some special effect changes, and that's this little icon. While it looks like a simple window, there's actually quite a bit that you can do here. We'll just go through them quickly one by one. You can make the image black and white. That's simply an on-off feature. Notice that it's on now. We can click on it again and turn that off. We can create a sepia tone to give the image the look of an old photograph, or turn it off. This one's called Antique, and some of the effects have variations to them, and this is one of them. You see it says 1, and we can intensify that effect by cranking it up all the way to 9. And you can see that there are significant changes to the image. Anytime you use these, you can always get back to the original by clicking in the center here where it says original, and that'll take you back. Fade color simply starts to reduce the color in the image until we faded the color out completely. Again, I can go back to my original, boost color minimally or more intensely, click back on the original. This one allows you to create a white mat around the image that has a nice soft edge. Back to the original. Vignette, which is similar but creates a black edge around the image. And finally, what we call edge blur, which you can see is causing a soft focus, but just toward the edges of the image. So some nice tools in iPhoto 09 for managing changes in color and certain stylistic changes. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on iPhoto 09.